Hey, welcome back to Life You Imagined. My name is Nico. Today I want to talk with you about an idea that simplifies self-improvement a little bit and suggests that maybe all you're really looking for is to achieve one simple thing. Self-improvement can sometimes feel overwhelming. At least it can to me. And if you've read any books or followed any videos or anything, or done any seminars maybe you felt similarly. It feels like the more you learn or the more you read, maybe I should say the more I read, because I can't speak for you, but I'm just assuming. The more ideas you, of course, get, the more information you become privy to, and the more you start reading all these different points of view from different disciplines, psychology and philosophy and health and business and all kinds of stuff, it starts feeling like there's about 100,000 things you have to do in life to feel happier, to have a better life. You got to start these habits. You got to get rid of those habits. You got to start improving your relationship skills, and you got to start, working on, your emotional things. And then you got to be more confident, or you have to think about how your brain works, and then you have to work on your body. And it's just like it starts to get kind of daunting, and you're like, damn. How many fucking things do I have to do to finally feel like I'm living a better life, to feel like I'm happier? It just gets kind of ridiculous at some point. Well, I don't know exactly what point that is, but there is a point. Maybe you felt the same way, that it feels overwhelming. And if you have just maybe lightly skimmed maybe some articles online or some videos about people suggesting what it takes to live a good life, I think it makes a lot more sense why so many people don't make this effort, why they don't go down, this little rabbit hole of trying to make the improvements, of making these changes. Because when you start taking in all these opinions and all these points of view and all these books and videos and whatnot, it seems really, as said, overwhelming, doesn't it? Where do you start? What do you do? What do you focus on? Do you have to do everything? Do I have to implement 40,000 new habits and get rid of, 50,000 old shitty habits? Do I have to become pretty much an entirely brand new person that doesn't resemble anything like what I used to be or what I used to believe or care about? So there's some books that make me feel that way. I'm like, oh, okay, apparently I have to just not be me and then everything will be great. I'm like, well, that seems a little extreme. And again, we don't have enough time in the day to implement everything out of every book or any person's advice or every single video we ever come across. I was about to say every video we read. Text videos, although they do exist. But we don't have enough time to do that. Ain't no one got time for that shit. Fuck. I came to a point where I felt very overwhelmed. I don't remember what book I was reading at the time, but I was reading something, and it was probably an interesting book. I was like, okay, this is good information, but it feels like yet another thing on top of other things that I need to do, that I've been trying to implement these other habits and, trying to think about what makes me happy and how to do this stuff. And I just go, fuck, I don't want to do any of it now. I'm done. This is just too much stuff. And then it made me think of, why does it seem to be this fucking hard to live a better life, to be happier? Did our ancient ancestors have to study all this stuff and have to learn all these disciplines and learn to be mindful and learn to do meditation and breathing exercises and then create these habits and really focus on their nutrition and their brain health and productivity exercises? Like, no, fuck no. We lived a much simpler existence, tens of thousands of years ago, because we were still more connected to our animal selves at that time. We didn't have books. We could pass on knowledge with whatever our version of language was at that time, or however we communicated. But it's, we didn't think about these kind of things. And now everyone, Maybe you're not, maybe it's not everyone, but people who are focused, and I'm hoping you're one of those people, that you care about improving your life and living the kind of life that you want to live. Maybe, I don't know, the one you imagined. But you want to be the best version of yourself and live that life that makes you happy, the one that goes, yeah, that feels like me. That would make me feel satisfied. But again, what does it actually take? And thinking about our, sort of evolutionary past and go, well, that other people didn't have to do this. Our ancestors are great to the power of whatever, 8 or 9 grandparents didn't have to do this kind of shit. They weren't so focused, so conscious. So it makes me go, well, why is it so hard? Why are there so many fucking ideas? Why does it feel like we have to do a million things? And of course, I'm only choosing to think this. No one came around and told me you have to do all these things. But I was at this point where I feel like I needed to sort of simplify things. I wanted just a simpler idea of what it means to really improve and what it is that we're really looking for. Because we're all going to have specifics, of course. Your situation and your desires are going to be slightly different than mine, even if there's some overlap, even if we're both creatively focused people and we both want to live a life based on our passions and our interests. That's what I want. I assume that's a version of that is what you're looking for, in addition to feeling happier and making life feel a little easier and not as stressful and complicated and all that. One of my favorite people in the world, Darren Brown, a magician and mentalist, he basically kind of boiled it down to a very simple idea, which I thought was a really good starting place. And he said, all these people, Tony Robbins and all the other motivational speakers and people who are doing all these techniques and ideas, they're basically trying to help you do a basic concept, which is do something or not do something. Everything is geared down to that same thing. That's basically trying to have you do something that you want to do that you're not currently doing, or have you not do something that you are currently doing that you don't want to do. That's it. Do something that you want to be doing, or stop doing something you don't want to be doing. All these techniques, all these books about, the ones at least that are actionable, are basically trying to help you achieve that goal, whatever that is for you. And I thought, okay, that's a nice way to boil it down. That's stupidly simple. Trying to do something or not do something. Basically take an action, stop taking an action. Okay. But the more I thought about it, the more I think you can actually go another level below that, because we can ask ourselves, why do you want to do that thing that you're not doing? And why do you want to stop doing the thing that you're currently doing? I think it's important to ask, don't you? To ask why. The little toddlers and whatnot have it right. Why? I think we should still be asking that as adults. So we seem to forget that. But yes, why? And my conclusion is that every decision that we make, every action that we take, I'll be watching you. No, every decision, every action, all our behavior is geared to achieve one basic idea. Well, it's similar to what Darren Brown kind of boiled things down to, is that we're either trying to do something we're not doing or stop doing something we're currently doing. But again, why are we doing those things? And I believe it's to achieve feeling something, or to avoid feeling something. If you think about it, but less so if you don't think about it, so much of what we do is geared toward an emotional result. Everything you're pursuing in life right now, all your goals, behind the surface level achievement, I want to make a lot of money, I want to make an album, I want to draw, I want to make a painting, I want to write a book, I want to start a business. Behind all those things, the reason you want to do those things most likely is because there's an emotional reward when you hit that point. You are going to do that so that you feel something. from that accomplishment. Because I can tell you fairly confidently, I try not to be 100% about anything, but fairly confidently, I can tell you that if you were talking about writing a novel, let's say, that was your big goal. I want to write a novel. Okay, great. If the result, the final goal, if you achieved that and it felt terrible, you didn't feel rewarded, you didn't feel good about doing that, some sense of satisfaction, happiness, whatever it is you're looking to achieve, you wouldn't do it. If it felt awful to do that, you wouldn't do it. Again, that is oversimplified. I'm doing that on purpose to try to make a point. Are there some situations in which we do some things that we don't want to do and they don't feel great, but we feel we have to do them anyway? There's, more contextual reasons why we do it. Sure, absolutely. I said I'm trying to simplify this right now because, again, life design can feel complicated. So when you do anything, make any decision, I think it's important to start asking yourself what it is you're trying to achieve, what it is you're trying to feel or avoid feeling. Are you looking to feel excited about something? Are you looking to feel happy? Maybe confident, secure, safe? Maybe you want to feel a sense of stability. Maybe that's the emotion you want to feel by making this decision. Maybe you want to feel loved, understood, validated, admired. There's a lot of things we want to pursue that make us feel better about ourselves. We're looking for that emotional result, that high we get from those positive feelings. And the things we do are just the means to get those things. Maybe you're looking to avoid something that gives you fear or anxiety or stress, or you're worried about feeling embarrassment, because there's a fun one. Shame, guilt. These are all things that most people try to avoid. They don't feel good, and they don't feel good for a reason. Usually they're teaching us a lesson about something. And I don't mean that in the universal sense that there's, magical forces looking out for you to teach you, the unspecial human being that you are, some sort of lesson. No, these are your body's emotional reactions to the situations, which are natural, but we don't like them. They are warning signals about the environment. That's how they evolved. That's why we have fear and anxiety. This heightens our sense of awareness for the environment to make sure we're not being attacked by predators, and we want to actually, either escape or fight back, basically live to procreate another day. But that's what I want you to start thinking about if you're willing to. I'm not trying to force you to do anything. It's what I try to do. And I find it to be helpful to actually understand what you really want. You could start by looking at the actions you tend to take or common decisions you make and try to understand maybe what you are looking for when making that decision. What is it that you are trying to achieve by doing that thing? Is it to achieve something positive? Something you want to feel that's good, makes you feel good, like a reward? Or are you avoiding some sense of punishment, some sense of fear, anxiety, something to feel bad? Are you avoiding that? And then if you can figure those out, maybe it's a mix. Maybe it's a mix of both things. There's a few things you're trying to avoid and there's a few things you're trying to achieve. What are they? You might realize over time, if you do this a lot, analyze a lot of your actions, or just try to go to the core of what are the things that motivate you. For instance, I tend to shame and guilt are big triggers for me. Anxiety's huge. I've dealt with that for most of my life. And for some reason, things that go against my sense of identity, but that's a whole different topic. Whole nother N-U-T-H-E-R, whole nother topic. Interesting, we throw that N in there sometimes, don't we? But I think you'll find, if you do this enough, you'll find some commonalities, that there tend to be certain things that you're attracted to and certain things you tend to be repulsed by more often than not. If you start analyzing, you start pinpointing those things, you can start seeing the core of what your natural motivations are. And these are things that you can use then in time to sort of hack the middleman, so to speak. Realize that maybe you're making a lot of decisions and making a lot of decisions and taking a lot of actions in life that are making the achievement of this positive emotion or avoiding this negative emotion more complicated than it needs to be. Maybe there's a much simpler way for you to feel validated, to feel like you belong. Maybe there's a much simpler way to avoid and not have to trigger your anxiety response to something, or not to feel a sense of shame or embarrassment. Maybe there's a much easier way to get there, and you realize the actions you're taking, since you didn't take them consciously, because you maybe were not aware that these were your motivations before, your emotional motivations. You then did not take these actions because of that. You just took the actions thinking, well, I just want to do that thing. Okay. But maybe there's a smarter way to get there. I say that to myself too. Maybe maybe I don't always do the smarter things to actually achieve what I'm trying to achieve. In fact, there's no maybe about it. I know I don't. I know I make things more complicated, because we all do. We all make things more complicated than they need to be because we don't understand what we're really looking for. So that would be my assignment for you if you choose to accept it, Mission Impossible style. Take some time to think about the decisions you make and why you make them, and with specific focus on what emotions you might be trying to achieve as a reward, or what emotions you might be trying to avoid. Or just start there. Maybe you don't have to analyze your actions. Just figure out what things tend to motivate you. What are the big, important motivators emotionally for you? So anyway, that's my discussion about that. That's what I feel is the universal thing that all people are looking to achieve by reading all this shit, by trying to do self-improvement, improve their body, improve their mind, improve their career, and get more money, anything. We're all just trying to feel something, or trying to avoid feeling something. And figuring that out can really help you make much better decisions in the future in order to actually get those things, or to see if they're even worth achieving. Because sometimes, it might just be purely reactionary. Maybe those are not good things we want to be achieving, or maybe there's not good emotions we want to be pursuing, or maybe not healthy emotions to avoid. Maybe we actually need to confront them. So again, being aware of them helps in so many different ways. So give it a try if you want to, or you know what, if you don't want to do it, that's fine too. No one's telling you got to do shit. All right, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having this discussion with me. I always like talking about this stuff, and it's nice to have someone to actually talk about these kind of things with. So I appreciate that very much. This is Life You Imagine. My name is Nico, and of course, I will see you next time. Bye. Hey there, welcome back to Life You Imagined. I'm not going to look at the camera while I do it because it's very aloof and cool. I don't need to look at you, I'm cool. Where's my sunglasses? Some behavioralists, I know some behavioralists? Fuck, I can't say this word.
Hey, you want to be a better person? You want to live a better life? Sweet! Make sure you hit subscribe on Life You Imagined YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit that fucking notification bell so you're always up to date with all the newest offerings from Life You Imagined. Don't forget to go ahead and hit like on the video and share with all your friends. Leave a comment with all your fucking useless information, because I'm never going to read it. Oh, and make sure you go over to lifeyouimagine.com and check out everything I have over there. Look at me, buy my stuff, do everything I want you to do, sales, marketing, promo. Buy my stuff, buy it. Look at me, pay attention to me and everything I do. I'm insecure.